I am finally on time, at least once. Hello. I am incredibly tired, actually. I'm very tired. I got too excited. This always happens to me, okay? I don't know if this ever happens to you, Chad, but anytime, say, like an event is coming up or like something fun is going to come up, just anything, I don't know, anything that I'm like anticipating is going to happen and I'm looking forward to it, I get too excited to sleep. And so what happens is when I wake up, I end up in this, or what happens is when I try to go to sleep, I just can't sleep. So I stay up the entire night. Thankfully, I actually got some level of sleep. I got about 6 hours. So I'm running on fumes, but I have tea to help me through. I'm kind of congested as well because it's cold. So just bear with me. Today is going to sound very nasty. In fact, let me take a sip of this beautiful tea. Never mind, it's like burning hot. Jesus Louises, why they... My God. I'll take a sip of that tea once it cools down. Welcome to today's stream. A fair number of things have been going on in terms of planning. Today's session will be kind of scuffed, just because some of the things that we're going to do today required me to very quickly set up a second laptop, and I didn't realize that my laptop wasn't ready, so it took like a lot longer than I expected last night. But I had most of the stuff planned beforehand. Some of it will be a bit crazy. The noises you might hear might be kind of weird. Just bear with me here. If you understand Korean, just tell me what you hear. I actually have no clue what we're going to hear today. All I know is that some of the things that we're going to play today have very, very large amounts of Korean in them. I think, for the sake of the Twitch VOD, I think we can't have a single bit of, I guess, like, game noise as parts of the actual VOD track. So if you watch this VOD on Twitch, you're not going to hear anything, except for when we get to the Warcraft 3 segment. But the StarCraft segment for today, it's just going to be noiseless for you. So if you want actual noise that you can hear, you can actually go to my YouTube channel and watch the VOD there with all the noises, in case you're watching this from the future and you're looking behind. Surprisingly, I didn't know this because I never checked the stats on like anything. I'm actually very lazy too, but a lot of people actually watch my VODs on Twitch, which I didn't know. 29. Yesterday was 38. The previous ones I saw up to like 70 or 80 of you. I don't know who you are. I don't know why you watch it on Twitch. Maybe you just enjoy hurting yourself. I'm not really sure. But there's a very good chance that this VOD experience will be a lot more painful for you because it will probably get muted. A lot of it will be muted. But it's going to be an interesting time today. I also found out the name of the artist that I was mentioning yesterday, the really buff Japanese guy who across dresses. I remember who his name was when I went back into my Spotify list. His name is Takayan. Or Takayan? I don't know. I really don't know how to pronounce his name. But he makes very good music. So we'll be playing his music to start off today, because his music also feels kind of like what you want from, I guess, like today's segment. It's gonna be interesting. Not that today's segment like is really focused around their type of music, but I think it matches the same energy as a lot of the maps that we're going to see today. So hopefully you enjoy the songs, because I enjoy the songs a lot. Their lyrics are also very, very surprisingly deep, and they're very, very surprisingly dark, but it explores different aspects of like human life, right? So again, just music and stuff, just be warned that we take a much more emotional bend on this channel, and we don't really shy away from those things. However, I did realize that the Needy Streamer Overload VOD from yesterday, I was thinking of censoring like 99% of it. So I realized that game handles so many crazy, deep, dark topics that I realized that I probably have to think about maybe not saying certain things, and which is kind of wild. So basically, you can't say certain words on YouTube, or on TikTok, or on any of these online platforms, because they treat you like a child covered in bubble wrap. So you can't say things like you're going to like you're gonna do it. Like, you can't say that, right? You have to say unalived, I don't know. There's like some other like funny ways that they say it. Unalived, or like rotted themselves, or like brought their HP bar down to zero and just didn't heal, right? Like you have to use like strange analogies to get around the AI censor, which in my mind sounds a lot more disrespectful to the topics at hand compared to just saying the word itself, right? It feels funny to me that in their attempt to make these platforms kid safe, like YouTube and stuff, they've developed a system whereby you disrespect the people who go through these issues by way of treating it like a taboo that you simply cannot talk about, which is absolutely absurd, I feel like. However, that's just how it is on these online platforms, right? For all these online platforms, it's more about the money that they make. It's more about what they can do, and it's more about the reach that they can push out in order to make more and more money, to make it worth it to host these things. Now, I've heard this is mostly prevalent for true crime content creators. So people who do like reports on true crime and stuff, whenever you watch them, again, sorry, congested because it's cold, or you listen to their podcasts on like say YouTube or Spotify and stuff, what you'll hear and what you'll find is that they have to say things like, oh yes, Claire unalived herself after finding out that her husband was fiddling the diddle, and like hanging out with all the kiddies on the playground. And it's like, what is going on? Like, what does that even mean? And it feels so like strange, so disrespectfully, or just so, I don't know, so it feels like it's treating something with such a gravity, with such a high level of nonchalance, that it feels like it's just not real, and it feels just weirdly disrespectful to what's happened, right? I don't know why these platforms do it. It seems counterintuitive, especially when, like, again, every video that you upload to YouTube is like, hey, is this content for kids? And you mark whether it's for kids or not on every single one. I mark it's never for kids, and I imagine these people also mark it's never for kids. And if your child is listening to true crime at the age of like 6, either they're really smart and they're able to handle it, or you've got like a Ted Bundy in the making on your hands. And even that joke would have probably been flagged by some AI. So IMO, people should probably just be like, hey, like, maybe don't let your child like watch this stuff, because it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not marked for kids anyways. It's not an 18 plus topic to talk about the death either, right? Like, again, Hunger Games, young adult novel, Harry Potter, young adult series, right? Like, all these things that young adults have like grown up with and like have like been subjected to, they tackle death very, very clearly. And I think it's very important to tackle death very clearly, very at like a younger age, when they can start to understand things and start to get the idea of the complexity behind what is lost, because then you prepare them for it, right? Hell, even the books that aren't traditionally young adults but that still work well no matter what age you are, as long as you can read and like understand certain things. Like, I really enjoyed Requiem by Joyce something. Requiem, Joyce. Who made that book? Was it Requiem? No, not by Graham Joyce. Requiem. It was a particular book. Requiem by Francis Itani. Very solid book. Very interesting. By a Canadian author too. Represent Canada. Represent. Even like strange like short stories, or even like, you know, whatever stories that you like read in school, like anything from Edgar Allan Poe. At least in Canada, we did a lot of Edgar Allan Poe, or even like this other book that we did in like high school called "Things Fall Apart" by Chinua Achebe. Stuff like that is, I think, so important to read, because it's like you need to be exposed to these topics. And it's weird that these online platforms and the advertisers by extension treat everything with these like with these strange like, you know, kid bubble wrap gloves. It's very odd. It feels counter to reality in a way. I wonder ultimately what drives these like content filtering systems and what makes them so heavy-handed in how they tackle these things. It's very, very odd. But That's gonna be a problem for the second part of Needy Streamer Overload. Whenever we do play that, I realized looking and thinking back on it that I'm gonna need a lot of energy to finish that entire series. Hopefully, only 2 or 3 sessions left, because boy oh boy, that game is intense, and we have a lot of games to go through in this month, and as well as today. My tea is cool now, so I can take a sip. Well, not really. It's still like waiting hot, actually. Oh my god. Man, this is the one problem with tea, right? You need hot water to diffuse the essence throughout the entire vat of liquid. However, the hot water stays hot for too long and it burns you. It's like, oh man. Okay. Now, let's begin the segment. Okay? We're going to jump right into it because there's a lot that we need to talk about. And it's going to be very interesting. Okay? The category is going to be in StarCraft, but just bear with me. There's going to be a presentational segment to this whole thing. If you're a VOD viewer on YouTube, a lot of this will be raw and uncut, and you just have to deal with this sort of like format. So just deal with it. Give me 1 second to set things up.